to Chelsea. Welcome to Chelsea. It's usually warmer in Chelsea than it is today, but at least it's not hailing. I heard it was hailing about a few minutes ago. It is my honor to welcome you to Chelsea and to welcome you to our beautiful Chelsea waterfront. Thank you, Secretary Tepper and the Healy Driscoll administration for producing the ResilientCoasts Plan. This plan is a critical step forward in the face of rising sea levels, extreme weather, and flooding that threatens our Commonwealth and, most importantly, threatens the residents of Chelsea. Thank you to Alison Bruces, Director of Coastal Zone Management, Mayor Pangalo of Salem, Rosambo Giovanni of Green Roots, General Manager John Lesura from the New England Produce Center, our esteemed Senator Sal Di Domenico, and our beloved State Rep Judith Garcia. Now, when people think of the word coasts, they think of white sandy beaches. And in Massachusetts, we do have those, including our neighbors in Revere and Winthrop. When we think of coast in Chelsea, we think of areas that are dense with people, are dense with businesses, and are dense with infrastructure. And that is the place where we stand today. Of the 15 new coastal resilient districts in this plan, Chelsea is in the most densely populated of them all, in the Mystic Charles Watershed District. In the heart of the district is the Island and River floodplain. These are 500 acres which are home to 5,000 people and a local economy worth a staggering $7 billion. And that economy is anchored by the New England Produce Center, and it includes major resources like 3 schools, our MGH Center, the only major grocery store for Chelsea and Everett, major roadways, an MBTA commuter rail line which connects us to the entire North Shore, including our neighbors and friends in Salem. All of this infrastructure is threatened by flooding that is getting worse every year. Already, during major events, our drivers are getting trapped in vehicles, and our fire department has to run out and assist them. We have floodwaters that are invading our basements, are ruining appliances, and creating dangerous mold in homes. Our commuters have a challenge in getting to work. Our businesses are going to be forced to close, and our insurance costs are going to skyrocket. Chelsea is ready to build the Island and River Resilience Project. It will include a barrier, a storm surge controlled infrastructure, and nature-based solutions. It will protect an area that is critical to the entire state. And investment is needed now more than ever. We are so grateful for the potential investment of the Mass Ready Act, which is guided by the ResilientCoasts Plan and other new revenue sources. I want to quote our great governor in the opening message of this plan. The stakes are high. If we do nothing, damage to our coastal buildings and infrastructure could cost the state and taxpayers more than $1 billion each year by 2070. But we know that every dollar invested in preparation can save $13 down the line. If you think about that, and I'm an engineer, I'm not a banker, but that seems like good return on investment. In the case of the Island and River project, the return is even greater. It will prevent an estimated $7.5 billion in damage just to buildings and infrastructure from storm events. Yes, that means a 30-to-1 investment. A 30-to-1 investment. So, to keep it simple, we cannot afford to wait. This plan is an important start. Now, we all need to make it our business and ensure that the plan is going to lead to action. And now, it is my honor to turn it over to our Secretary, Rebecca Tepper. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fidel. It's great to be back in Chelsea. I'm wearing my Chelsea pin today. As you know, Chelsea just won a big award, so this is in honor of that. I just want to thank you all for coming and to note that getting to this day has been a real team effort. There's been many people in this audience and in our group here who have worked hard on this to get to here today to our plan and our strategy. We met with many people, and I think that outreach resulted in a plan, I think, that is one that we can implement and one that we can all be excited about. So I did want to thank our legislators who are here, Senator Domenico and Representative Garcia and Representative Mesquino. I think the mayor's here, Pangallo, and who else is here? Who else is here? Oh, yep, Rep. Armani and Rep. Gorwitz. So thank you all for coming. Now, I have said many times that I do have the best team in government. And I say it because it's true. And I just wanted to thank particularly today the team from CZM, who is led by our wonderful director, Allison Breezius. Moran, who is our Chief Coastal Resilience Officer, who was hired specifically to spearhead this effort. Undersecretary Stephanie Cooper. All right, so the rest of the people are I'm just gonna, I'm hoping that maybe you guys can raise your hand. You know, people who do the behind-the-scenes work on this material work so hard, and on a day like this, it's really nice for everybody to know who worked really hard on this. So Maya, is she here? Raise your hand. Good. Julia. Tyler. Margot. And Courtney. And thank you all for your patience. I'm so proud of all the work that they've done, and I want to make sure that they all got good credit for that. You know, being here by the water is a reminder of both what we're protecting and what is at risk. The Healy-Driscoll administration is committed to supporting our communities as they adapt to climate change. That's why we launched the Resilient Coast program 2 years ago to bring the full power of the state to deliver real solutions. The goal was to bring together state agencies, local leaders, and residents to create a bold, long-term plan that helps the people and places most effective. Here in Chelsea, the sign of change is right in front of us. Today, as you all know, is a king tide, one of the highest tides of the year, and I had the benefit of this morning being out. I walked very early in the morning, of seeing a very bright full moon this morning. It's beautiful. And you know, today is a nice day. There's no storms. It's a little windy, but no rain. But the full moon is pulling the tide higher than normal, and the river is pressing against the banks of the park. When this wall was built, water like this only showed up during storms, and now it happens on quiet, sunny days and days like this. More than 3 million people in Massachusetts live in communities that are expected to experience these impacts in the coming decades. These are places where people live, raise their children, and earn livelihoods. But it is important to remember that these challenges also present a unique opportunity for us to build safer communities. Over the past 6 years, our team has met with people, past year, not 6 years. It feels like 6 years, but it hasn't been 6 years. Over the past year, our team has met with people up and down the coast to develop this plan. The message was clear. Communities want the state to be a strong partner and help coordinate across cities and towns. That's why Resilient Coast was built through local voices and local experiences. This has been a bottom-up approach, communities coming together to talk about what they need. In Massachusetts, protecting people and property isn't a political issue. No, it's a practical issue. And every dollar, as Fidel said, in resilience saves $13. And we say that everywhere we go because that is so important to understand. Like, sitting around doing nothing is going to cost more than taking action. So, that is why also that Governor Healy filed the Mass Ready Act in June to help communities prepare. Mass Ready focuses on using dollars in smart ways, fixing things that need fixing, and doing it before they become emergencies. It authorizes over $200 million for coastal resilience so that we can get to work on the strategies recommended in the Resilient Coasts Plan. So I just want to thank you all. I know I'm going to cut a little short because it's cold and we got a lot of people, and I just want to say thank you again for coming here today, for being partners with us, and for helping us all act on this enormous challenge that we have. And Allison Brizias is going to come up and talk as well.
Thank you, Secretary. And thank you all for being here. I want to join the Secretary in giving an enormous thank you to our wonderful team at CZM and across the state. We really couldn't have done it without all of you, and we appreciate you so much. I also want to give a huge thank you to the members of our internal working group who have worked with us every step of the way to make sure that this really was an all-of-government effort, and to our external task force and our partners in our municipalities and our communities who have been there and I know continue and do work every day to make our communities healthier and more resilient. It is absolutely great to see all of you, or so many of you here today. We're proud to have such great partners in all of you, so thank you. So the Resilient Coasts Plan recognizes the deep importance of the coast to all of us here in Massachusetts. It's really an integral part of who we are as a state. It shapes so many of our ways of life, and it drives our economy. And it's important that we make sure that we maintain that deep connection for years to come. And that's why we really have this challenge ahead of us, to prepare for climate change and to ensure that our communities have the tools that they need to adapt and continue to thrive. That's why this plan provides a comprehensive statewide framework for coastal resilience over the next 50 years. It details a strategic path forward that emphasizes proactive and cost-effective solutions to reduce the risks to our communities, efficient funding coordination that maximizes resources across our regions, because we know we need to make every dollar count, and focused actions that are going to adapt our neighborhoods and reduce risk for all of our community members. Now, I think the Secretary already said this, but it was really important to us in this plan that it not be a top-down approach. We wanted to hear directly from our coastal communities who are at the forefront of this challenge with us. And we wanted to ensure that this plan gives you what you need to do your jobs more easily and to build faster and work together better. And just generally, there's so much work to do. It's going to take all of us. So it's going to be so important for us to be able to work together in a more coordinated way across the coast. That's why it's really meant to be a successful framework for partnership more than a state plan. And we admit we're going to need to be flexible and creative and willing to try new things and scale up what works. And at CZM and in Mass, we are really excited. We are ready for this challenge, and we are eager to continue working with each of you in the most exciting part, which is making this plan into a reality. So thank you all, and it is my honor to be able to invite up Deanna Moran, our Chief Coastal Resilience Officer. We were lucky enough to get Deanna to come over and join us at the state about 1.5 years ago. And putting this together has been an enormous effort, and we could not have done it without her dedication and leadership. So thank you, Deanna.
Thanks, Allison. Good morning, everyone. It's been an honor to become part of the CZM team over the last year and a half and to oversee this initiative and to finally be here celebrating our transition from planning to action with you all. As promised, I'll give a couple of details about what's in the plan. I know we have many partners here today who worked with us on this and were very involved in the shaping the content and the recommendations. But we are really looking to plan on a long time horizon. We want this plan to have longevity. So we're looking out over a 50-year time horizon, not just 5 or 10 years, but out to the 2070s. We're looking across the coast for opportunities to scale up resilience regionally. So as Allison said, we can stretch those limited dollars and make the most impact. One way we're doing that is by proposing 15 coastal resilience districts, which are areas that we've identified that share coastal geography, other characteristics, and most importantly, flood risks. And while we're also identifying areas within those districts that have near-term vulnerability. So we know that there are places that have more urgent risks and are in more urgent need of intervention. The plan digs down to provide guidance on place-based strategies for key coastal landforms and land use areas, acknowledging that resilience is not a one-size-fits-all, as all of you know, and different strategies may be more or less suitable depending on the community and the environment that you're working within. So trying to provide that information to all of our communities so that they can make the choices that make sense for them. Finally, the plan identifies viable and practical state-led strategies to better embed coastal resilience across state government and to support local and regional efforts to accelerate the pace of resilience coastwide. The plan also recognizes that coastal impacts are affecting more communities. Today, the state's coastal zone officially only covers 78 communities, but we know that there are about 20 additional communities, primarily up and along tidal rivers, that will be exposed to coastal impacts by the 2070s. That's 98 communities across our state. By identifying these additional areas as coastal communities, we can start to encourage smart, collaborative, and proactive regional planning for future coastal impacts today. Overall, the plan lays the foundation for developing tailored approaches in these 98 cities and towns and encourages collaborative, regional, and district scale approaches to coastal resilience. Thanks in advance for your continued collaboration as we work together to implement the long-term solutions that are needed to keep the Massachusetts coast resilient. I'd like to invite up Salem Mayor Pingallo. He and his statewide group, the Massachusetts Coastal Communities Alliance, have been really great partners in this effort. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to the City of Chelsea for hosting us, Secretary Tepper, the entire EEA team for making this initiative a reality, and on behalf of the City of Salem, happy November, everyone. Halloween's over, so I'm allowed to be here now. I have the privilege of serving as mayor of Salem, a community that, much like Chelsea and dozens of other coastal cities and towns across Massachusetts, are on the front lines of the climate crisis. We know full well that investments in resilience are investments in public safety, and they require collaboration between neighboring communities, across regions, and throughout the Commonwealth. No one community can face this tide alone. It was that understanding that led to the creation of Resilient Together, a regional climate action plan on the North Shore that was launched by my predecessor, then Mayor Driscoll, and her commitment to this work is extended into her current role as our Lieutenant Governor. The Healy-Driscoll administration has elevated the importance of climate response and readiness in a thoughtful and proactive manner. That same understanding led me to help establish the Massachusetts Coastal Communities Alliance in 2024, and today that alliance represents nearly 700,000 Massachusetts residents. We're a forum for peer learning, technical support, on occasion group therapy, about the challenges and opportunities we face when it comes to coastal resilience. I am thrilled to be here as we put the Resilient Coasts squarely in that bucket of opportunities. The Resilient Coasts framework provides precisely that broad regional collaboration that we need on the local level. The Coastal Communities Alliance was grateful to be able to provide feedback on the framework's development, and we're ready to be a constructive partner with the administration in implementing it. Coastal cities and towns are also encouraged by the funding provided by the administration, coastal resilience grants, the MVP program, dam and seawall funds, and more. And when you layer on top of that the funding and the tools in the Mass Ready Act, it's clear that Massachusetts is acting decisively to safeguard its coastal areas, strengthen our communities, and protect our residents. A few months after I first took office in 2023, a massive storm brought destruction and flooding into Salem. One of our seawalls was totally destroyed, another was overtopped, and we saw a storm surge into neighborhoods that had never had it before. Our climate is changing, and while the federal government is surrendering and retreating from this work, protecting American communities, here in Massachusetts, we're stepping up. And we're doing it not just in collaboration with state partners, but with community organizations as well. In Salem, it's Salem Alliance for the Environment and Salem Sound Coast Watch. And here in Chelsea, we know it's groups like Green Roots who are doing the same. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Roseanne Bongiovanni from Green Roots. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Chelsea, folks. We love to do events in extreme weather, either extremely hot, extremely windy. Thank you so much, Secretary Tepper and the folks from CZM for being here today for the launch of this important policy. We were thrilled to be part of the external task force to provide input into this important report. As a community very much literally on the front line of climate change, we in Chelsea and East Boston know the importance of preparing for future climate impacts. We see the beginnings of these impacts every single day in frontline environmental justice communities like Chelsea and East Boston. From sunny day flooding in the Shaw's parking lot in East Boston to Marginal Street and Eastern Ave in Chelsea, filling up with seawater during the winter storms of 2018. And even here, this walkway that you all came down today to get here was almost entirely underwater. Our residents and our municipal authorities are experiencing these effects now and are looking to the state and our federal government, which has abandoned us, for solutions and for funding for these critical solutions. They'll take tons of money, and there's only so much that will go around under the best circumstances, of which we are not in it. The importance of this report is that it helps us to objectively prioritize where we need to begin to allocate those scant resources, and that we need to do it along our coast. The challenge for our decision makers is that every community has needs and everyone wants their projects done first. But some areas are more vulnerable than others. Some areas are impacted more than others, and some people's resilience is more challenged than others. This report considers these factors when laying out a roadmap for all of our actions. I want to thank again the folks at Coastal Zone Management for moving this critical work forward for communities like Chelsea and East Boston and other environmental justice communities. We're here on a very critically important day. One of our partners who I'm about to introduce up is the general manager of the New England Produce Center. And our community was together in Chelsea today talking about the SNAP crisis that is impacting everybody in our country, but communities like Chelsea so utterly critically and devastatingly. And it's folks like the New England Produce Center that will be impacted by flooding and coastal climate change. We already see the impacts, and these are folks who we rely on as critical partners. I was on the phone with the New England Produce Center president today asking him what he can do to help us with this climate crisis. And so many in our community are reliant on the New England Produce Center for jobs and for food, not only in Chelsea, but the New England Produce Center provides fruit and produce all the way up into the southern Canadian provinces and mid-Atlantic states. This is the critical infrastructure that projects like this will help to protect not only our people, our jobs, but the critical infrastructure that our region so desperately deserves and needs. Please help me welcoming up John Lucero, the general manager of the New England Produce Center.
Good afternoon. I'm John Lucero, the general manager of the New England Produce Center, located right across the street from where we're standing today. Many people in Massachusetts don't know that we exist, but almost everyone eats our food that passes through our gates. Built in 1968, the New England Produce Center is the largest privately owned market in the country. We're the main produce distributor for New England, serving 6 states and the Canadian Maritime provinces. We feed 9 million people every day, 3 meals. That's 27 million meals every single day. We provide food to everyone, from the biggest grocery chain stores to restaurants to small mom and pop stores to other food service businesses. We house 25 different wholesale produce companies. 2,000 trucks every day come in and out of the New England Produce Center. There are 2,000 people that move that food for you every single day. People always need to eat, so we operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't stop for Christmas, we don't stop for snowstorms, and we didn't stop for COVID. We work 24 hours a day. That's why it's so important to protect this area from flooding. Beecham and Market Streets already flood quite often. The problem is getting worse. During the winter storms in 2018, floodwaters entered our parking lot, damaging vehicles and forcing our businesses to close. We've seen the projections in the sea level rise. Without the flood barrier, it's only a matter of time. An interruption in service would be absolutely devastating to the region, our economy, and the health of 9 million people. If we shut down for 2 days, grocery store shelves would look empty. People would panic, like they did for toilet paper in 2020, and buy more and more and more until there's nothing left. Imagine the panic and the suffering if we had to close for 2 weeks during a major storm. Thankfully, we have a solution. The cities of Chelsea and Everett have a forward-thinking plan to protect this area, the Island and River Flood Resilience Project. I applaud Secretary Tepper and the Healy administration for the bold Resilient Coast Plan that recognizes the urgency of protecting critical infrastructure like the New England Produce Center. Thank you very much. I'd like to now invite Senator DiDomenico up. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, John. I am cold and you are cold, so I'm going to be very quick. I just want to thank everybody behind me. It's great going towards the end of the program because they've said it all. You can just say ditto and thank everybody, but I do want to thank the Healy Driscoll administration, Secretary Tepper, CZM, Deanna for her work, and all my legislative colleagues here, and of course the best city leader, Salem, the best city leader in the entire state, Fidel Maltese, my good friend, Chelsea city manager. So I also want to mention his better half, who is the EJ queen of the state, Marie Balan, as well, who was here with us. And of course, Rosie, my good friend, and if I don't mention her, I will get something over my head later on, but my good friend from Greenwoods, who really does amazing work in this community and across the region, protecting our environment and making sure people understand we need more in this area than other parts of our state. And selfishly speaking, as an EJ legislator from Everett and Chelsea, I love this plan because it centers equity. It centers equity because we know that some communities need a little more help than others. And I always say when I fight at the State House for funding, I don't want my fair share of the pie. Because the fair share of the pie doesn't work with communities like Chelsea and Everett. We have more challenges here, more obstacles, more things we have to overcome. So I want more than my fair share of the pie. That's why it's so important that this plan centers that, and equity is at the forefront of all that is going to be done in this plan. I also want to say, you know, I am proud to represent Chelsea and Everett, and we have seen how important this area is to the success and viability of the entire region and our state. As you've heard, 9 million people a day are served by the Produce Center right here. We have some of our best medical professionals right here, a school right here. And if all of that goes away or there's interruption, there's severe hardship, not just for people in this region, but across our state and upwards of Canada, as you heard.